What's going on, guys? We're back at it again with the top 50 9-hole courses in the world. Today we're playing Mussleburgh, I believe it is, in Scotland. This is the old course, so I'd assume this is what is on the list for the top 50 9-hole courses. There was a few different options, but I believe this is the course that we're looking to play here. So using the Garmin Approach R10 as always as the launch monitor. We're using Home Tee Hero inside the Garmin Golf app as the simulator software that you're seeing on screen right now. Using a Callaway golf ball today with the Country Club Elite golf mat that we can hopefully hit down into a little bit more, and you can actually put tees into it. So pretty good mat here and into some 10x7 nets. So let's go ahead and get into it on the first hole. We're looking at a long par 3. We have 230 down one, so we're looking at 229. I'm gonna go a slightly teed up 4 hybrid, start it off and see what happens. I'm thinking the few times I've hit this slightly teed up, I got about 240 out of it teed up when I really flushed it, so hopefully I get pretty close to that number if I even hit it at like 80 or 90% here. Caught it heavy, so that's probably going to be short, but it should be straight. Hit behind that ball a little bit, but not horrendous. About 23 yards short. See if we can hit the 56 here and get onto the green, ideally in that inner circle. Ah, that was super thin. Off the back of the green. That's what I get for trying to hit down into the mat a little bit. I should probably just keep doing what I'm doing. Save the actual short game practice for either on course or like a chipping and putting green at a course. It's good to hit these kind of shots with these yardages, but there is no comparison when you're hitting off a tight lie, essentially a perfect lie like this mat, versus different kinds of grass that you're going to experience around the greens. But anyways, 14 yards plus another 1 or 2, so we need 15. Tough first chip shot to start it off. Hopefully we can make up for it here. And I caught that one heavy. Probably a good thing we did. All right, first hole with a bogey. Not ideal, but definitely had worse. Second hole, par 4, relatively straight. This is a link style, really should be golf course, so not a whole lot of trees, hazards, water, bunkers, whatnot to go around. So a lot of these holes should be pretty straightforward and flat like this. Been working on straightening out this driver a little bit here in the simulator by been overcooking them too much to the left, so opening up the club face just a tad, opening up my stance just a tad, and aiming a little more down the middle versus towards the right. That was struck decent. A little low for my liking, not launched super high, but should get some yardage out of this one. 266. That's about a good on-course swing there, so we'll take that. 77 yards. with an extra, we need an extra basically 7 because we're in the rough, so we're looking at 84. It's going to be 52 territory. About 75-ish% on the 52. Popped it up. That might be short left. Not a whole lot left, but it was definitely short. Short game killing us once again. Drive for show, putt and chip for dough, as they say. So we need 14. Might be a little long, and it is. I should probably start bringing my 60 degree into the repertoire of wedge shots here. There is a good amount of bounce, I believe it is. So like basically the sole of this club is pretty fat of the 56. I like it and use it mostly out of the thick grass around the green, which is good. It gets a little bit heavier, gets through the grass, but for tighter lies like this, and in the short stuff around the green, I probably should, sometimes like I do on course, use the 60, or even like I have been doing pretty much for the past 2 years, using the 52 almost all those shots. A little more controllable, lower ball flight, but for the sake of this practice session, pretty much for the backyard simulator, I try to use some newer clubs, which that 56 is as of the past few weeks. That's new this year. So third hole, par 4. We're gonna aim up there, about 280-ish towards the right. Get another good swing here, hopefully, with the driver. That one was also hit pretty good by my standards. Bounced right into the bunker, but that was actually, I think, maybe not as much as I think based on the layout of this hole. I'll have to check after, but that was a little bit of a straighter, well, definitely straighter ball flight. That wasn't basically a hook or an overdraw to the left. That almost looked like, to me, from when I caught it coming back, that was a slight fade, which for this driver that's turned up with the club face closed is somewhat of a welcome sign that I'm not 30 yards left into the woods. So we've got 98, plus we're gonna need an extra 20%, so that's about another 20 yards. We're right around 118. I'm gonna go pitching wedge, choke down pitching wedge. Started left. I did pop it up. I feel like that was more than a 70-yard shot, but maybe not. I didn't swing super hard at it, so that could be just a mishit on my part versus a misread, which is probably the case. So that was a wasted stroke, but we've got 28 now, plus another, call it 2 or 3, so we're right around 30, 31. Because we're in the rough. Get lucky. All right, I'll consider that lucky. Almost missed the ball. That was a complete skull job, super thin, straight but thin. Depending on the speed of the greens, that probably would have rolled off, but we got lucky. Some of these greens within this home tee hero, it kind of stops the ball pretty quick. So 4th hole, par 4, we're +3 through 3. Not great for the difficulty of this course compared to some of the others we've played, so hopefully start stringing together some pars, maybe even a birdie or two. Get back to that even number by the 8th or 9th hole. Decent swing again. I feel like I'm getting a little quick with my backswing and transition. If I slowed that down a little bit, I could tell I didn't get all of that. Probably would have been able to generate some more torque and force, putting a little more distance on the ball, but we're in the fairway. 190, no rough, no slope. Should be a stock 6-iron. All things equal with a good strike. That was straight, but it was low and thin. Alright, we made it work. We'll take a par. Fifth hole, par 3. 175. That is pretty much between an 8 and a 7. So I think we're gonna opt for the slightly more club, 7. If we catch this super clean, it's going to be 5 or 10 yards long, but that was struck pretty well. That could be long. And it is long. Good swing though, I'll take that. I'll take good contact and a good swing being slightly long versus a mishit all day long. I'm not going to say I flushed that, but that was pretty close. So, 6th hole, par 4. Straight again. We're going to aim slightly up there to the right, just a tad. Going to try to slow down the backswing just a tad, keep a little more width in it. I'm no pro by any means, golf instructor. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but from some of the research I've done and countless videos I've watched on swing tips, that was off the heel. That's going to turn a good amount to the left. Felt a little quicker though. Maybe not. I did open up, had the club face a little bit open again that time in the stance. Again, not sure on the layout. That could have actually, it seems like it's on the right side of the fairway, so I'm thinking that was a slight fade off the heel. But also because of the layout, that could have also just been, we cut part of a corner and it was still slightly left, I don't know. Either way, we just missed the fairway, so we're in the rough, which is going to take 10% off, so another 7 yards. So we're looking at 84. somewhat promising here with some of the driver swings that I feel like I figured out slightly, although it seems to be on course, basically the complete opposite here. I still tend to slice some, even with this driver on course, when I'm not hitting them well, versus here, everything seems to be left, so I'm not sure how that can be. I guess it's just the difference of my swing here versus on course, but that was kind of thin. We're long again, but yet again, we get it to work out. Should be another par, I believe. Seventh hole, par 5. Looking like a dogleg right. Slightly. That one definitely started left. And there it is. That's kind of what I was expecting on the last one. Off the heel, overcooked it to the left. Not horrendous, but only about 250, and we missed the fairway to the left versus aiming up to the right. So that probably had a good 15-20 yards of draw on it. And for my liking, about half of that too much, but that's why I'm not on tour. Or a scratch golfer for that matter. So we got 226 to the hole, plus we need another 22 yards basically on top of that, so we're looking at 46, 48. I think we're gonna give 3 hybrid a rip. If we catch 100% of this, it's gonna be long, but if we don't, could be a good number. Low and to the right. It's gonna be up there, but that's probably a good 20 yards right. .46 down one, so we're at 45 plus another 4. We need 49. I'm gonna go 52. This is about a 50%, 52 here. Slightly less than that actually. That's gonna be so short. I popped that way up. I don't know about that. I kind of swung at it, but that almost went over the net. That hit the top part of the net. Generous birdie on that one, in my opinion. 8th hole, par 3. 239. So we're gonna go teed up 4 hybrid. Shouldn't really have to even tee it up with this style of mat because everything is essentially a perfect lie, but I feel like that 1/4 of an inch or whatever it is teed up will just help launch the ball slightly higher. Not a terrible swing, but that's going to be to the right. Didn't catch all of it, but 220 versus the 240 we were looking for. we'll get dialed in with the hybrids eventually. As I've explained, there's a good chance I'm playing them maybe 10 yards too long stock yardages, but as I've explained, personal preference for me, I prefer to be 10-20 yards short if I don't hit something good like that, versus if I were to play to my true averages by not hitting them great right now because the clubs are new. That probably would have been a 3 hybrid, and if I really catch a 3 hybrid, there's a chance that that was 20-30 yards long. So on here it wouldn't be a big deal because I'm just off the back of the green, but if I'm playing on course somewhere, I'm trying to translate these numbers in stock yardages pretty much, and clubs that I hit from here onto course. On the course, who knows, there could be a tree line 10 yards past the green that you have a lost ball now. You could be hitting into another group, it could be into a hazard, who knows, but generally speaking, I prefer, if I don't hit them great, that I just basically take the medicine and take the short yardage and then have a second look at it, versus hitting into someone or losing a ball and taking penalty strokes. That may change in the future, and hopefully once these get more dialed in and I'm hitting them a lot more consistent, that dispersion, long and short and left and right, will come down. So 22 yards. But I don't know, maybe that's crazy thinking. If any of this stuff that I'm saying sounds just completely counterintuitive or just completely backwards, let me know. Basically, well, I am self-taught pretty much golf besides YouTube. I've never had a lesson or anything, so kind of just picking up what's worked for me in the past and some of the things that I picked up from YouTube videos. It seems like, I was thinking about it the other day, it seems like I was thinking that ideally I would like to have a couple lessons and kind of bring my swing basically just to a more of a standard normal swing. But as I've explained, my only worry is I've been playing this way for these past 5 years, so I've pretty much developed these habits, good or bad, and I basically have a worry of starting to change too many things that's going to throw my entire game off. And from what I was thinking and proof on tour, there is no real set way and 100% perfect standard way to hit a ball, unlike some other sports where certain technique is kind of just, it's accepted, where you kind of have to do it every single time a certain way. There's tons of swings on course that do some unconventional things, but through practice and through matching up certain swings and whatnot and certain aspects of the swing, people get it to work and they're at the highest level of golf. So I'm not saying that I'm comparing myself to those guys, someone like a Matthew Wolff or a Jim Furyk or anyone else with a somewhat unconventional swing, even a John Rahm or a Tony Finau with their short backswings. But the point is, I think with enough practice you can pretty much get anything to work. And if it's not completely broken, where I'm not like shanking the ball every single time, although I do that, if it's not completely broken, why fix certain things? But again, that could be poor thinking on my part, I don't know. That was the left, and that might be long. 2 yards long, not too bad. Par for the 8th hole. So, through 8, going into 9, we are +2. So, ideally, we get a par, or ideally a birdie here, at worst a bogey, and end up with a +3. I'd be happy if I could take that. If I could not have to hit these next 2 to 5 shots and just take a +2 or a +3, I'd probably take it. Decent swing there. That rough killed some yardage, but that might have been the best swing of the day. If we hit fairway there versus that rough, we probably would have got closer to 270-ish, 275. So we got 30 yards left. We put this inside that circle for a bird would be real nice. Hopefully from 30 yards I at least hit the green. So I'm hoping at worst we get a par here, looking for a bird. Hopefully I can channel some of these camo short powers and get a birdie here. I guess eagle's still on the board if I chip it in. That's gonna be short. Caught it heavy, hit behind the ball, but it's gonna be on the green, so gonna end up with a par. And this is just bringing us back to the first hole again to go around for the back 9. But because these are the top 9 holes in the world, this is where we're gonna stop. Going to take a look at the scorecard. So from Mussleburgh or Mussleburgh Old Golf Course in Scotland, we ended up with a plus 236, somewhat to be expected, within basically anywhere from 4 or 5 strokes over and down is where I try to be for these easier 9-hole courses. So plus 2, right in the wheelhouse of what we've been doing. Not too angry at that. Played some better golf towards the end. We went bogey, bogey, bogey. So 3 bogeys in a row. Then we rattled off 3 pars in a row, a birdie, and then 2 more pars, which will take down the stretch of the 9. So 2 out of 6 fairways. Would like to be 3 or 4, but we had some good drives there. Probably the best drive of the day was that last one on the 9th. 4 out of 9 greens of regulation, pretty close to where we want to be. I'd like to be 5 or 6, right at that 50% number, and then work up from there, but not horrendous. And then 14 putts. Got lucky on some of those chip shots that didn't hit well, but 14 putts over 9 holes isn't too bad. That's right around that 1.5 putts per hole, so not too bad. All in all, pretty standard, I would think. Didn't play terrible, didn't play great. I really would like to start getting with these top 59 holes as we play more and more courses with now these settings that I'm not 2 clubs short. Really start to dial in and play some better golf, especially I would assume I've been taking at this point probably hundreds if not thousands of swings, probably thousands so far with this simulator setup. So you would imagine, and I would hope, that the more swings and the more courses we play, slowly it'll just keep grinding towards better scores. So all that to say, hopefully we start shooting in some of the red numbers, some under par scores for these 9 holes, but we'll see if that happens. Who knows, could get into a massive slump here towards the end of the summer and start shooting plus 20s, who knows. But that's all I have today from Mussleburgh. I'm just going to stop trying to say it, but see you guys at the next course.